Romantic trips to Mexico usually result in memories that last a lifetime, but that was not the case for former UFC fighter Phil Baroni and his now deceased girlfriend. In today's video, we're going to be going over the tragic events that unfolded between Baroni and his beloved this past month, and trust me, it's not going to be a story that warms your heart. This story is filled with rage, infidelity, betrayal, and even murder. So stick around, because you are not going to want to miss a second of this video. Baroni was arrested in Mexico following the local police finding his girlfriend's lifeless body in a room that the couple were sharing at a resort in San Pancho, Mexico. According to the report, the incident began outside of the resort in a public place, when Baroni's girlfriend admitted to cheating on him with another man. This, of course, sent the former UFC fighter into a fit of rage.
UFC, pride,
street, yard, ring, cage, no matter.
Phil Baroni brings hell.
I'm going to rip your head off. That's the attitude Baroni brings.
And the two of them went up to the room. According to Baroni's retelling of the events, he told his girlfriend to go and bathe. However, she refused to do what he asked. This caused Baroni to throw her violently into the shower, which resulted in her bashing her head, leading to a fatal head wound. Baroni then set her body on the bed and left the room, where local forces eventually found the body. Baroni admitted to throwing her into the shower in a violent fashion, which is what resulted in the head injury. Police believe that the New York native was under the influence of marijuana and alcohol at the time of the murder. Baroni claimed that when he threw her into the shower, she slipped, causing her to bump her head on the wall of the shower. And then, when she fell to the ground after she hit her head initially, she hit her head again on the shower floor. Baroni then claimed that he helped her up and got her into bed, and covered her in a sheet after she claimed that she was cold. Baroni then said that she requested for him to go and get her some cigars and some beers. He obliged, but when he returned, he claimed that he could not get her to wake up. It was then that Baroni ran out of the room and informed the police what had happened, which is when they found her body. When the police found her body, they immediately saw that she had signs of beatings, and not just one, but multiple, according to the police report. As of this recording, Baroni is being held in a Mexican prison, while an investigation into the matter is being conducted by local police. They are currently labeling it as a homicide, as that is what the current evidence suggests. However, we will eventually get an official announcement following the investigation. Baroni made a great deal of friends while competing in the UFC.
The hand speed of Phil Baroni is ridiculously excessive.
That's the thing with Phil. You get knocked out anytime.
I'm taking him out.
And many of them were stunned to hear the news, including Michael Bisping, who tweeted following the news.
If Phil could fight, but he's not exactly the best grappler. You know, right. He came and helped me for a couple of my training camps. When I fought Dan Henderson, he was in that the whole time.
Bisping said, "I'm really hoping this is a sick joke. Phil Baroni arrested for murdering his girlfriend?" Baroni's time in the UFC was relatively short-lived, as he competed from 2001 until 2005.
Don't forget your fucking shine box.
Baroni is always dangerous.
During that time, he held a record of 3-5 and a professional combat record of 16-19.
One more time, the New York badass is back. Man, look at how swollen Baroni is. Veins are starting to pop out.
It's about putting on a show.
Baroni is unfortunately not the only former UFC fighter to get caught in some serious crime. In fact, there are 5 other examples of former UFC fighters who ended up committing serious crimes after their time in the UFC. Up first is Jon Jones.
Big shots by Jon Jones.
World in trouble here.
Gustafson's in trouble. That's
Jon
it.
Jones has
That's
regained the throne.
Wow.
And while Jones did not commit anything as serious as murder, he did rack up a string of drunk driving charges, with his first one coming in 2012, when he crashed his vehicle into a utility pole in New York City. Jones then got charged with a DUI 2 more times, with one of them resulting in serious jail time.
The open bottle that's right behind the passenger seat. Reach behind the passenger seat, grab me that open bottle. Driver's license, registration, insurance, please.
He once struck a pregnant woman with his vehicle while driving under the influence of alcohol. He ended up only injuring her arm, but the results could have been catastrophic for everyone involved. The latest charge he received was in 2020. However, when he crashed and was caught, he ended up discharging a firearm in the front seat of the car, which also landed him a few extra charges. Jones's crimes, while bad, are nothing compared to the crimes up next, like Jason Miller. who has been charged multiple times with his biggest offense leading to incarceration. Miller has been charged with vandalism, unlawful taking of a vehicle, burglary, and the biggest one, grand theft auto. Of course, he is now in prison for his long string of crimes and has actually increased his time thanks to harming a police officer while in prison. While Miller's sentence may be long, it's nothing compared to the sentence still being served by former heavyweight MMA fighter Dmitry Sosnovsky. Sosnovsky is currently serving an 8.5-year sentence for kidnapping and extortion. Buckle up because this story gets pretty crazy. Sosnovsky and 4 other accomplices kidnapped a Russian businessman and they extorted his friends and partners, asking for 300,000 rubles in exchange for his life. They made it clear that if they did not get the money, they were going to kill the Russian businessman. Funny enough, Sosnovsky and his 4 accomplices decided to leave the room halfway through their interrogation of the businessman, presumably as a fear tactic. Hilariously, the businessman escaped while the 4 men were out of the room, and he then called the Russian authorities, who arrested the 5 men. But this is still somehow not the craziest crime a former member of the UFC has committed. Remember Lee Murray? He competed in the UFC and earned a pretty reasonable record of 8-2-1-1.
Fighter, but an MMA fighter, Lee Murray. Just scary, man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I actually ran into Lee Murray right after he got stabbed.
The last column representing no contest. Anyway, Murray was one of the men involved in the Securitas Depot robbery. This robbery saw Murray and his partners jet off with £53 million. However, they were all caught and the money was returned. Murray was initially sentenced to 10 years in prison. However, it was recently increased to 25. If you thought a quarter of a century was a long time to be in prison, just wait until you hear the last one on today's list, Joe Son.
I'm a professional fighter.
What kind of fighter?
MMA. You can find me in Wikipedia, believe it or not.
Not only does he have a horrible 0-4 record in the MMA, he also is currently serving life in prison. His charges vary from assault to sexual assault to all sorts of unspeakable things, including manslaughter. Joe Son will never live his life from anywhere else but from behind bars, which is exactly where he belongs. Good way to end off a video, right? Because that's all we have for you guys today on the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Were you surprised to hear about Phil Baroni's crimes? Did you know about the other criminals who have done time both in the UFC and in the clink? Let us know all of your thoughts below in the comment section. We hope you enjoyed today's content, and if you did, why not consider leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel. It's free to you and it goes a long way for us. Also, don't forget to ring the bell, which keeps you notified and lets you know when we post any new content. Thanks for watching, and we will see you all in the next video.